Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'aventure? Ah, mais c'est le président. Un pauvre qui vote ou celui qui l'a rendu pauvre. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'étranger? Ah, mais c'est le président. À l'Assemblée, il y a un vieux. Vraiment. Au Sénat, il y a un vieux. Wonderful. À la présidence, il y a un vieillard. Dans tout le gouvernement, il n'y a que des vieux, des vieux, des vieux. Des jeunes prennent le chemin de la Libye pour devenir des esclaves. Les jeunes prennent la route du désert pour entrer en Europe. À l'Assemblée, il y a un vieux. Sonia Touko. Au Sénat, il y a un vieux. À la présidence, il y a un vieillard. Dans tout le gouvernement, il n'y a que des vieux, des vieux, des vieux.
Hi. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Good day to the beautiful people of the Cameroons, the beautiful people of La République du Cameroon, and the beautiful people of British Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Cameroons today, everyone wants to turn water into wine. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a party political broadcast by myself, Maître Mola Alex Ndiveli Singer, the leader of British Cameroon National Party. Ladies and gentlemen, I often come to scrutinize and hold the government of La République to account based on their policies and to give alternative policies. However, I'm so concerned that there is a presidential election in October. I'm not excited. It doesn't mean anything to me because we know the result. We know the result. Sometimes I ask myself, do I live in the same country, a country that I grew up in the Cameroons, went to Nursery School Boya Station, right up to Mwakele de Den Yaoundé University? Do we live in the same country? Do we live in a country where we don't even understand the country? People have been doing the same thing since 1992, and they are hoping for another result. You cannot ask people that they should go and register. How do you know if they are your voters? Ladies and gentlemen, what is very important, and the entire so-called opposition, they are afraid to come and debate because most of them, they have lived their life. No matter how old they are, they don't even know how the Cameroons function. There are two things. It's either they are ignorant or they care only about themselves. They want to exploit a system and make their money. Because if you are a real politician, you should have a political party since 1992 and start having your militants. You stand for maybe local council election, you stand for parliamentary election, maybe you put mayor, you win mayoral seat. In Western world, it is difficult to come and see somebody say he wants to be prime minister or a top position when they have never been even a councillor, they have never been a parliamentarian, they have never been a mayor. Because you start climbing a ladder. But in the Cameroons, everybody, you want to be president. And when you be president, what are you going to change? This is what I want to say today. Nobody comes and tell you how they are going to make the Cameroons to be an independent country, because the Cameroon is not independent. It is being run by France. It's a property of France. Nobody is telling you how they are going to change that. Nobody is telling you how they are going to make the Cameroons to be economical and financial viable, because France still controls it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is no mistake. After the major national dialogue, Mr. Biya said, I'm going to give an account to President Macron. Why did he not say to the Prime Minister of England or the President of America or other Prime Ministers in European Union? Why? Because he knows the de facto president, the real president of the Cameroons is the President of France, Macron. That is why Mr. Biya made it clear. Je suis un meilleur élève de Mitterrand. Because he knows his boss is the French president. It's not only in the Cameroons. We see it in Chad, Togo, Gabon, all these France, Africa, most of the country. France controlled that country, French African country. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing have ever changed. After the so-called independence, nothing have changed. I'll tell you something. Look at, is it Saudi Arabia? What has Saudi Arabia got as natural resources? Saudi Arabia. Natural gas. They have petroleum. They have iron ore. They have gold and copper. That's it. The major natural resources in Saudi Arabia. What do they have in Dubai? United Arab Emirates. Dubai. It's a very developed country. They took 50 years to develop that Dubai. What do they have as natural resources? Petroleum, natural gas, marine resources. That's all. You go to Qatar. What do they have? Petroleum and natural gas. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the Cameroons. The Cameroons have got oil and natural gas. Variety of mineral resources, bauxite, iron ore, gold, diamond, rich in agricultural product and fertile land. They have significant quantities of coffee, cocoa, cotton, timber, coltan, nickel, you name the rest. If I start naming the natural resources that the Cameroons have, I'm sure I'll be here till the next day. Okay, what do Dubai, Saudi Arabia? They don't have what the Cameroons have. But ladies and gentlemen, let me shock all of you today. What do Singapore have? What Singapore have? The natural resources of Singapore are its strategic location at the Strait of Malacca. Its location. That's their natural resources. Singapore have next to nothing, almost no natural resources. They next to nothing. It's just almost a plain land. That's what Singapore, that's their natural location. The Cameroons, has it got one of the best locations in the world in Africa? Yes. They call it Africa in miniature. So just that location could make us to be like Singapore. But why are we not? We have extra things that Singapore, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, they don't have it. So when, ladies and gentlemen, when people come and talk, oh, presidential candidate, as if they become president, they will change something. Ladies and gentlemen, as things stand, if we don't have a national conference, if we don't call each other to meet and kick France out now, before election, nothing will change. Let's go back to Singapore. What's their secret? Location. The Cameroons is in the middle of Africa. It's Africa in miniature. So only that location can make us to become a developed country like Singapore. Forget about the natural resources. Because what the Biya, the Aijo, and other French puppets are doing, they make sure they give these natural resources to the West. British people, Dutch people, they left this country, they went to South Africa, they become billionaire. Elon Musk, the father left the West and went to South Africa in the 1950s. I can list all of you. When this Muzungu in the West, they leave, they go to Africa, they become billionaires in Africa. So, but you African, you cannot become billionaire. Because why? These so-called presidents are puppets. There is no single president in Africa that can be a president or prime minister in the Western world. But for one, maybe the late President Francois Senghor in Senegal, he could have been that only person who could have been, because he was a minister before Senegal had its independence in France. Some of us, we want to compare with Senegal because this man, Senghor, Leopold Senghor, that's his name, Leopold Senghor, the first president of Senegal. He went there, he was the first president, put a good foundation, good institution, because he practiced law in France. He's a Senegalese French citizen. So he was the first president. He was a member of parliament in France, well-educated man. He knows what was democracy. So he took that democracy and implanted it in Senegal. So the people of Cameroon, stop comparing your country with Senegal, because you don't know what happened to Senegal. We had the Aijo and the Foncha, people who have no clue about democracy. Back to Singapore. Singapore, just location, that's their main natural resources. Location, that geographical location. We have the same geographical location in Africa, in the middle of Africa. But we are not using it. In Singapore, they had what they call the MPH formula. Meritocracy, pragmatism, honesty has been the bedrock of Singapore's success. That's it. Pragmatism, they know how their country is. They are not copying any other country on earth. They know they don't have that natural resources. They become pragmatic. Their first prime minister was what? A lawyer. He instilled that belief, pragmatism. He said, it doesn't matter, that's their philosophy, whether a cat is black or white, insofar as it can catch a mouse. So that's how they are. They don't care whether you're Betty, you're Bakwe, you're from Lamso, you're from Manu. So far as you can catch a mouse, that's their policy. Pragmatism. We don't have that in the Cameroons. Honesty. Prime Minister Lee, this lawyer of Singapore who was the prime minister, he made sure he fought corruption. He doesn't care who you are. Whether you're the prime minister, assistant prime minister in his country, he locked them up. Honesty. But in Cameroons, people will steal money. They go to prison. They say they have reformed it. They release them. All Mr. Biya's ministers, 99% ministers and top officials are criminals. They steal taxpayers' money. Dishonesty. And Mr. Biya said, show me proof. If you say my ministers are corrupt, show me proof. That's what Mr. Biya said. Then the last but not the least, the Singapore formula. Meritocracy. Meritocracy. How many of you have jobs in the Cameroons because you really merit it? It's man no man. When I was in the Cameroons, you go to P&T, somebody was there, it's only their tribes people who are there. ENS, somebody was there, only their tribe people. Go to President of National Assembly, only their tribe people. Go to Mr. Biya's own, only their tribe people. No meritocracy. And when you see, I keep on telling people, let's have this debate. 29 million people of the Cameroons are afraid to have debates. We like to come and sit on the TV and talk by ourselves. British Cameroon National Party is willing and ready to have that debate with any person. It's easy to talk, but to tell us how you're going to do what you're saying is another level. Most people just come and talk. Since 1992, no manifesto. They go and stand politics of personality court. They put I'm this, I'm that. They still do it because they keep on fighting. The same people who created political party 30 years ago are the same leaders because nobody can challenge them. They don't debate to know who is best. Then the public look and have Well, even if it is not necessary presidential debate, we are afraid. We go to TVs, we bring our friends to talk, we think that is beauty contest. You have to bring even the people you don't like to come and have that debate with you. That's how it works in a democracy. You don't need to like somebody before you appear on your TV, your radio, or program. You sit there, you don't like this person. That's not democracy. The people who are a problem in our society are those who are not happy with others' opinion because they want everyone to live in their dogma. In life, in a democracy like in the United Kingdom, if I say I like apple, you say you like guava. What's wrong with that? That's democracy. But in the Cameroons, when you talk, people come and join me, coalition. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if I were to stand as a presidential candidate in the Cameroon alone, I believe I would defeat most of these opposition that have been there since 1992 to current. Mr. Biya always have averagely 70%. You people come with 14%, 10%, 2%, 17%. It's because you do politics of personality cult. I've studied the Cameroons. I've studied the regions. And if you ask me what the people in Garoua, Maroua, or other parts of the Cameroons they want, I know it. And I will be talking to them based on their needs, not about coalition. A bunch of people want to come on coalition with their coconut head, empty head. I call them empty head. They are afraid to debate. If you really want to be a leader in a country, you really want to run a country, you should be able to debate with any person. I was in the Cameroons. I was on the TV talking with people from, Cabral Libis party. I said he should come and have a debate like me. They promised that he was going to come and have that debate. 2022 to today, they cannot have debate. Ladies and gentlemen, most of these people, they call themselves presidential candidate, they want to be. Let me tell you the truth. They are there to legitimize Mr. Biya. I can bet till my last penny that I have that nobody will defeat Mr. Biya in the ballot. It's a fact. If anybody is serious, you want to be a presidential candidate, you have to take not less than 10 years to start preparing. You have to target parliamentary seat, local council seat. Even in Western democracy, if you want to get to power, you start by local council, parliamentarians. You cannot sit there, nobody has ever elected you somewhere in your life, but you want to start at the top. In a democracy, you start at the bottom. You struggle to become a councillor. You struggle to become a member of parliament, maybe a mayor, other elected position. So by then, that's how you gather the momentum. But you cannot stand without ever winning one seat election. If you look most political parties in the Cameroon, listen, most of them, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, most of them, they are being sponsored by France to just come and accompany Mr. Biya. Why is it that we don't debate about economic issue in the Cameroon? Why is it that whenever Mr. Biya win an election like in 2018, everybody goes quiet? He comes in December and announces everybody emerge. That's not opposition. Opposition needs to be scrutinizing the government on a daily basis. Ladies and gentlemen, who among you don't want to be independent and free and have a free Cameroon? When these people, they come and talk, I will be president, I will do federalism. How can federalism stop France from controlling the country? How? You guys are not independent. All we need, we have all these resources I've named in the Cameroons. Oil, natural gas, bauxite, iron ore, gold, diamond, rich agricultural land, cocoa, coffee, cotton, timber, coltan, nickel. You have all these things. All we need to do, those who are our friends, Mr. China, Mr. Russia, we need technology. Can you send your people or come and create those industries in the Cameroons? It will create jobs. But as it stands, the cooperation agreement says those natural resources, it must be sent to France, Europe, America. I used to tell you people, Donald Trump is coming after CEMAC. I said it that we have joint sovereignty and it's benefiting France, not the Cameroons. A country without a central bank is not an independent country. A country that cannot control a monetary policy or interest rate is not an independent country. It's not an independent country. That country is owned by France and the West. And you ask yourself, what's going on? Why can they not give the oil and gas company for Maitre Mola Alex Ndivelisige or other people to exploit? They give it to Glencoe, Pectin, Bolare. Why? To foreigners. Why can they not give it to me? We have Bakassi is there. Why are we leaving Bakassi there? Why don't you build an oil refinery there? If you give Maitre Mola Alex Ndivelisige, take Bakassi and build an oil refinery, I can do it. It is simple. I'll just go to the city of London. I look for who they call business angel. They will give me loan. We can do what we call public-private partnership. I will develop Bakassi. When you develop it, it will create jobs. People will live there. We enjoy our natural resources. What happens? We'll be paying that loan like a mortgage back to the city of London. You see all these people who come and buy electricity company, water company in the Cameroons, all those. It's not their money. They go to the city, look for business angel, they borrow their money, they come and buy it. Example, like your electricity company. Then they will be taking money from you and paying them. That's how it works in the Western world. I can construct the deep sea port if I have that contract now. It must not be the government. If I have the deep sea port in Victoria, you say, Meta, let's just